Welcome back, everybody. We're here in Final Fantasy XIV, and we were looking for Alice at this inn, but she's not around, apparently on patrol. So now we're going to have to go ahead and chase her down, so... let's go ahead and find out where she's at. I guess going to the watchtower first. Yeah, it wasn't very far at all, was it? It seems we have this spot here, which I think is where the light is. Like, I'm assuming this is the spot where, like, the light stopped from engulfing everything. LSA is nowhere to be seen, but you spot fresh footprints on the ground. They seem to be about the right size. Alright. They head off northwest. Or maybe there is something down here. Okay, maybe not quite. And good thing I checked back, because there's an ether current staring me in the face. So this makes 5 now. Any more around here? There's one southwest, but I'm not sure if I can reach it or not. This looks pretty blocked off from here. It looks like mummies running around. Huh. Definitely a curious thing to see. They look kind of freaky when they walk. Did she just decide to go through an army of gillmen? Ooh, they're aggressive, aren't they? I just gotta need to be fighting a different type of enemy for once. Because a lot of the stuff we saw around here was kind of duplicates of stuff we've seen already. I don't think we've seen anything like the Gilman before. Look at these footprints. What was she doing? See, like a cave over there.
Get back here! Is that... It can't be.
Impressive.
Just a lesser sin eater. Nothing to write home about. I knew you'd turn up sooner or later, but I had been hoping for sooner.
How are you?
We've fought them to a standstill, then. The XIV did say that the Empire seemed to have drawn back when he last looked in on the source. But without knowing for sure how fast time was passing there, I couldn't help worrying that a lot might have happened since then. I'm heartily relieved to hear that it hasn't, just as Alphino must have been. As you can imagine, both he and Urianger were desperate to hear the news from home when I arrived. I haven't actually seen Thancred and Y'shtola yet, but they will have heard all the latest developments from the Exarch by now, or should have at least. When I think of how frantic Tataru and the others must be, I want nothing more than to rush back and reassure them. But we still haven't found a way to reverse the summoning. And even if we had, we couldn't just ignore Urianger's vision. He may use 10 words where one would suffice, and they may often obscure as much as they reveal. But on this matter, he was as clear as day. I do not doubt for one moment that he saw what he claims. Nor how difficult it must have been to speak about them. The 8th Umbral Calamity and your death aren't exactly topics for idle conversation. As much as I might want to go home, I don't want to go home to that. We can't allow the rejoining to happen, which means we have to save the first from the Sin Eaters. That great wall of white is a remnant of the flood. 100 years ago, the balance in the first tipped decisively in favor of light. From that moment, it rose and swelled with each passing day, and then, without warning, it burst forth like water from a broken dam. A colossal wave of pure light, drowning everything in its wake. Only Norvrant was spared. For the most part, living things are composed of ether of various different aspects. But when exposed to such a flood, their etheric harmony is shattered, and their natural form breaks down. Then they either perish, or are warped into mindless abominations. Yes, that's how the Sin Eaters came to be. They were once living creatures, or people, that were caught in the path of the flood. Once the change is wrought, there is no going back. In that instant, they are gripped by an insatiable appetite for ether, and will happily gorge themselves on any living thing within reach. But even that is not the worst of it. The stronger Sin Eaters can plant light in us, like seeds in soil, corrupting our ether, and triggering the birth of new monstrosities. They are creatures of base instinct, that exist only to feed and to multiply. They feel no pity, know no remorse, and are utterly deaf to reason. Which is why they must be destroyed. Every last one of them. The infirmary is full of the Sin Eaters' victims, left here to spend their final hours waiting for the change to overtake them.
Well, that's pretty horrifying. Just a matter of time, more for some, less for others, so this patient will all become monsters in the end. And add insult to injury, they inflicted are feared, shunned, cast out of society, and exiled here on the edge of the world. The only good thing I have to say about this hellish place is that it has served me well as a training ground. Tijlene and the others have also been kind enough to share their knowledge of the Sin Eaters. Which is knowledge I can now share with you, while you help me finish my patrol, of course. Here's what we'll do. I'll take the east side of the inn, and you clear the west. That way you can have an undiluted experience with the resident terrors. These marks on your map are usually where the usual trouble spots are. You can assume that any beast of a white hide or carapace is a Sin Eater, but you'll know for sure enough when they come slaving after you either. Remember, it's kill or be killed with these monsters. Once you've slain whatever's prowling around out there, we can rendezvous back at the north entrance. Good hunting. see here. Way off to the south. Yeah, that's... Probably should kill one of these lizards first, though. Yeah, that fireball wasn't that very tough, so... There we go. Let's see what pops up out of here. There's another spot coming up here real soon. Nothing here? Okay. Probably gonna be something at this third one, though. Still everlasting light. Let's see what pops up here. Another forgiven cowardice. These have very interesting namings. Alright, let's see what's went on the other side, I assume. Probably more Senators that way, right? How did you fare? Pretty well, I say. Yeah, I thought there might be one or two lurking on the fringes, nothing out of the ordinary for this area. I expect you to notice it yourself, but individually, these lesser Senators are no more deadly than any natural predator you might encounter in the desert. It's when they appear in numbers that they pose a threat, much like the Void Scent. They have an unfortunate tendency to flock to the strongest of their kind. Thus, when a powerful city that goes on the hunt, it might be attended by a veritable swarm of weaker kin. Imagine an army of such creatures descending on a village or hamlet. That's the basic idea behind my patrols, to cool their ranks often enough that their numbers won't be overwhelming when the big ones come out to play. You've certainly helped on that front. Let's report our victories to Tesleen, shall we? Alright, that does make sense. Alesei tells me you helped up on our patrol. You have our thanks, and my apologies for leading you from one battle to another ever since the moment we met. Hey, Kiss, I'm glad to see you two have found each other. You have no idea how badly Alesei has missed your company. Everything is always, if Narn were here, she would. That's an exaggeration. I don't sound like that either. I was simply trying to view matters from another perspective, and I respect Naren's methods. Honestly, after seeing her in action, I can understand why. The way she leaps into the fray without hesitation, it really is something to behold. I might be a little smitten myself. I'm only teasing, though I have no doubt she deserves all the admiration she gets, just like you. Yeah, level 74. Nice. Enhanced Sheltron. Nice. I'd like to lay out a welcome meal, but the duties I put off when I went to the market are still waiting for me. There are 100 or more things that need doing. I'm sorry, but would you mind waiting here with Alize? What, until our thumbs while you work yourself to death? Surely there's something we can help you with. I could do with a hand, it's true. Thank you. You can start by helping me sort out the larder, Alize. While we do that, could you tend to a few patients, perhaps? There are 3 in particular I meant to visit. Just a matter of saying a few words to them and seeing that their skin isn't caked in sand. Their names are Palin, Todden, and Halric. I may not give much in the way of a response, but I promise they'll be pleased to meet someone new. So all 3 of them are in this area. Thank you. Todden glances up at you blankly, but you notice the tension in his face eases slightly. Halleck remains utterly still as you wipe the sand from his cheek. The texture of his skin is hardened into something akin to plaster. That's probably not good, is it? You've seen to the patients. How were they? Good, that's good. I knew they would enjoy meeting you. I'm concerned about Halric, though. I'll have to speak with the other carers, but I think it's his time may be near. We shall leave you to that discussion, then. I'm going to take Naren to Morsug if you have any other errands that need to be doing. Well, I suppose there is one thing. Would you pick up nectarine from the markets, then? Kazara's caravan just passed through, so Ronron should have some fresh food. Come then, Naren, there's something I want you to see, right after we stop at Ronron's stall, of course. I think there's some other people around here over to this way. No escape. No escape. Sooner or later they will claim us all. Claim us all. So I think these people might be more normal than the ones on the other side. No one comes here without a very good reason. I'm not prying on what yours might be. I will, however, try to make your time here as painless as possible. I care for those who can no longer look after themselves, though in all honesty, I have no intention of staying when I first arrived here with my brother. He was a patient here, you see. I started by performing a few chores about the place, and before I knew it, I had become one of the carers. When my brother's time came, I decided to carry on. Name Inn at Journey's Head describes what goes on here fairly accurately. As with any other inn, it's simply to rest before you embark on the next part of your journey, if you see what I mean. Originally, it was more of an infirmary, a place where the patients were supposed to recover. Over the years, it became clear that once a person is touched by a sin eater, there is no cure. Our job is to prepare them for the journey into whatever waits beyond this life. Okay, that explains a lot about this place, then. I think we can just go ahead and teleport over to where we need to be. There's the blue mark spots here, so... But we did get 5 of the ether currents around in the environment. Oh, back again, are you? You need another taste of Ronron's wares? Actually, we're looking to buy nectarine. Do you have any in stock? Oh yes, nectarines. Peaches, grapes. Fresh and juicy. Yeah, given how richly you cracked your coin place for me, I might still owe you food. Here, take this one, free of charge. Gods, I've never seen a more merchant give away something for nothing before. How much coin did you spend here? Oh yes, I'll take a jar of honeyed worms as well. Oh no, they're not for me. It's an offering of sorts. The worms, if you please. Only the best wrigglers for you. Come again, my friends. Right, that's our shopping tour taken care of. Let's head up past the aetheryte to the main tower. The view I want to show you can only be seen from its very top. Alright, I guess we're heading up, this way, I'm assuming. Here are your precious worms. That buys us a trip to the top of the tower, does it not? Glazed wrigglers, you actually bought them. Well, you shouldn't let you, but just this once, alright? Only once. Never fail, shall we?
Look, over there, where the wall is broken. Do you see what lies beyond? That's what the land became after the light flooded in. An empty, white nothingness. Life cannot exist in such conditions. The primordial light would wreak havoc on the body's etheric balance. That nectarine you bought, it's Halric's favorite fruit. Most of the patients, Halric included, survived the attacks of powerful eaters. But their fate was sealed all the same. The monster's corruption has entered their bodies, and their very essence is being subsumed by light. The twisted state of the world itself just makes matters worse. Under normal circumstances, a person's ether naturally tends to equilibrium. But for these poor souls, the opposite is true. Sooner or later, every single one of them will turn. Tesleen and the patients, they all know this. They know what has to be done before the change goes too far, before the eater within takes over. The preferred method is mixing poison into their favorite food. In my time here, I've borne witness to a lot of last meals. I feel just as helpless as before. No matter how hard I fight, it's never enough. But it's a war I mean to wage, nonetheless. Speaking of wars, do you remember how I made you promise not to leave me and then promptly collapsed? Well, let's just say I had a few choice words for the Exarch concerning the timing of his summons. But even if the fault lay with someone else, I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd abandon you on the battlefield. So I swore that I'd make up for my absence there by making a difference here. And that's what keeps me moving forward, even when things seem hopeless. On which note, it's time we headed back. The longer we keep Tesleen waiting, the harder this will be for her.
Alright. Glad I was able to show you that. When it comes to understanding the catastrophe which befell the first, one glimpse of the empty wasteland beyond the wall is worth more than an hour of Yarnjay's lecturing. I need you to know beyond a doubt that Tessalina has no other choice. Nectarine will be a kindness. It isn't just the threat posed to others. When a person becomes an eater, the pain appears to be excruciating. Carriers are truly fond of their wards, and would spare them the suffering. There's a way of fighting back against a fate worse than death. Alright, let's go ahead and teleport back. You're back. I hope you had a nice time. Did you manage to find a nectarine? Yep, we got one right here. Thank you. Alisaie's explained why I wanted this, has she? I can see it in your eyes. But we may not need it just yet. I spoke with the others, and we decided to keep an eye on Halleck for now. Thanks to you, though, if his time does come suddenly, we'll be ready to send him on his way of a taste of happier days. Well, nothing is going to happen for a little while yet, so let's see if we can't lighten the mood. We don't want our gloomy faces worrying the patients. I think it's time for that welcome meal, don't you? Take a seat, and we'll make us a nice stew.
Speak up if you'd like another helping. I made a little bit more than usual today.
And you've added something special to the broth, if I'm not mistaken.
Aye, well, it's not often we have visitors from the Crystarium, so I may have thrown in a few extra bits and bobs.
I'll have another bowl, then.
That's what I like to hear. Give me a moment to warm up the pot. In a place like this, you learn to take what moments of happiness you can get. I remember when I first came here with my mother. She was showing the early signs. I knew there was no way to save her, but I just couldn't face what needed to be done. That's the way of it for most people. Why they travel from arms to stay here. Beaten, broken souls come to wait out the inevitable, to receive the mercy of a painless death. When my mother finally left this world, I was mad with grief, but also thankful that her passing was a peaceful one. It's never easy, ending a life you've cared for, even when you believe they go on to a better place. I often find myself wishing the Warrior of Darkness would come and do that part for me.
The Warrior of Darkness?
You've never heard the tale? I'm not sure where it began, but every child in Norvrent could tell you a version of it. Warrior of Darkness, servant of death, take care of our souls at our dying breath. Let sinners and eaters of sin go with thee, that all may return to the sunless sea. Well, that's the version I was taught anyway. It's just an old bedtime story. He's certainly never deigned to visit us here.
Which is a good thing, surely. He sounds rather ominous.
Do you think so? I always liked the idea that he treated every soul the same, even the Sin Eaters.
They're coming.
Desleen! Have you seen Halric? I swear, I only took my eyes off him for a moment.
Alright, Alize, we have to go look for Alec. I don't know what's gotten into him, but if he's wandering out there alone... We'll assign search areas and split up. Any idea where he might be heading? No, he's never done anything like this before. It can't be a coincidence that the other patients are suddenly so agitated they can sense something. Okay, so let's keep the search close to the inn. Alec isn't very sure on his feet, so he won't have gone far. I'll search the east side. Please, Halric, please be alright. I'll cover the north and west then. You take everything from here to the south. Very curious indeed. Let's see if the other patients have something to say about this. They come for new kin. We got a little bit of a spot to go. But I think maybe this might be a good spot to end this off and then pick up in the next video. So I'll see you guys next time and we'll find Halric.